Happy Friday. It's the Friday happy hour because I got the professor right next to me. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll hear his voice on the podcast. Armando Lara, how you doing, brother? You ready to go?
I'm pretty good, man. I just got back from playing basketball. Feeling good. Copping Jimmy Butler, get foul grifting my way to a win. It's nice.
We're gonna talk a little bit about these first two preseason games. And I know you've got the veterans on your mind. I got the youngsters on mine, and together we form a copacetic balance, if you will. Let's get into it. You ready?
Let's do it.
It's the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Summer's over. I get it.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Man, I cannot believe Friday is week. All Welcome to the Golden Days presented by FanDuel. You can follow Armando Lara, who has Sprewell Was Right as a column you and your cousins run and operate on Substack. Again, it's called Sprewell Was Right. Phenomenal name. He's also a professor at UC Berkeley. You can follow him on Threads at Mando_man10. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram at DogWild, over on Twitter at Surf Journalist. The program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Great to see you, brother. You're immediate. Let's start with that second preseason game where we all were introduced to a little known, unless you're a college basketball aficionado. I certainly am not, man. I don't religiously watch college hoops. It's a casual affair for me. So LJ Cryer really came out of nowhere, and this kid definitely captured the minds of Dub Nation and is now a talking point in terms of his future. But that was fourth quarter theatrics, and it was heroic basketball that him and the other third stringers basically pulled out. I know Quentin Post is probably technically a second stringer, might be starting some games, but for the most part, those were the deep end of the bench reserve saving the day. How did you feel about that second preseason game? And great to see you, man.
Good to see you too, man. I'm excited. Basketball is back. Get to see the foundation that I've been laying here every Friday for the last 6 weeks. I get to see it in fruition. And I hope our viewers, you guys, if you guys are here today, you guys want to know what I think. And oh, did I lose you?
Your internet skipped out for a second there. Can you repeat what you said at the end?
Yeah, and it is way worse than I thought. Everything I said, I feel even more adamant about for the last 6 weeks. And I'm so concerned. I think Sunday is a critical juncture. I cannot wait to see what lineups they roll out on Sunday, because I think they learned a lot about who can play on the court and who needs to play with who. So I don't know. I don't trust his coaching staff. Sunday is going to be very telling.
Well, let's get into specifics. What about game two, and maybe what about the preseason as a whole? Are you not pleased with? Can we start with specific players, specific schematics, coaching decisions? What? Let's itemize this list, man. What's bugging you specifically about the Warriors?
So in game one, they wanted to trot out the lineup that they wanted to see the lineup that they went with last year that did really well last year. So that was Steph, Pod, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was pretty clear in the first 5 minutes that to the team and to the veterans that Brandin Podziemski does not belong on the court. It's an odd man out. They're playing 4-on-5 with him. Anytime you set a pick on Pods, it is a wide open shot for the other team. I put some clips on my Threads today. And I think, and it's not just me saying that, I think they know that, because the next game they went with the Al Horford lineup.
Yeah.
And I'll be a little bit quicker, Si, so you can pick at any part of this.
No, it's real quick. Were you happy at least that in game 2 it was Moses Moody starting and not Podziemski? I was thinking you might be happy with that decision at least. No, yes,
No, because he's being played at small forward. So like he's having to guard the point guard, and he's getting those deflections, and that was nice to see. That, the thing is he's playing up on them, but it's Brandin Podziemski that's in the help position when the ball gets swung. So I think they saw what I saw, and because it was freaking awful. They were losing to G Leaguers. I mean, it was like the Lakers had a G League roster out there, and they were trying hard, and it looked good with Jimmy's foul grifting and Steph's 3-pointers, and that's great. And I know Dub Nation loves to see it, but it is so hard. This is what I saw in the second game when they went with Al Horford. Like, for our veterans to get those shots, we're doing the Kerr motion. It is so much effort to get a wide open 3, to get a Jimmy to the foul line. Like, the other team is just dribbling up and looking at a player like Pods and just shooting over him. You could play the clip that I had. Our guy, that is going to wear on our guys. I could see it. It looks good in spurts, but when they started Al Horford, I mean, he looks worse than I thought he did in the playoffs last year. Like, there was a play against Portland when some no-name center just Anthony Lamb'd him. So that's what I call when you're boxing somebody out and the opposing team just reaches over you. And
I talked about that on the postgame show, Armando. I remember that exact specific play. It was Donovan Clingan who just reached right over him like a high school senior grabbing a board over a middle school player. Like, that's what it reminded me of. It was not a good look for Al Horford.
Dude, so he that happened, and he's like looking around like, oh, what just happened? Like, he was stunned. And I've been hammering this home for 3 weeks. Like, it's a little bit dangerous because we're kind of in a 2023 Klay Thompson situation where they have to play him for political reasons, because they just staked their whole offseason on the big Al Horford signing. Yeah. This guy hasn't played center in like 2 years, and he's our center. And now, like, I saw, it wasn't just the rebounding. Guys were just going in there. There's no fear whatsoever with Al Horford blocking your shot or like any kind of imposing on defensive end. Like, there was a couple plays where he ran down the court and he looked spry. This is the spryest he's going to look all year, is that last game. And we're running this motion offense with pin downs to get Al Horford a 3. Like, it did not look good to me. And, I was like, the people were going nice. Oh, like, we're doing good with Steph Curry shots and all this kind of stuff, and Jimmy Butler. And I'm like, damn, they're down to Portland. They're like down by 15 to Portland. I could keep going, but I'll stop there.
No, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, like Portland to me was they're a totally different look of a team compared to the Warriors' first preseason game against the Lakers, and that's what they're going to be playing this Sunday. And of course, we'll be going live immediately after that game. They're playing it down at Crypto, and we're going to talk about the LeBron James news. He's going to be missing the start of the season for the first time in his career. Could be out a month, could be out even more than that because of old man-itis. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. It's actually a sciatic nerve issue that's affecting a side of his body. Again, that's the type of shit that old people start to suffer. LeBron James turning 41 in December. But the Lakers, like Portland, to me, I feel like is coming into the season very underrated. They are a young team. They're an athletic team. Kamari or Tamani Kamari, is that his name? Hold on, I have it. Tumani Kamara. I apologize. Like he flew under the radar in terms of analysis, names of players to look out for, because he's a long, tall, athletic, a primary defender, but he can also shoot the 3. And so Portland presented a very different challenge to the Warriors than the Lakers did, in that you were facing a team that relies in a lot of ways on athleticism. Shaedon Sharpe is another example of a player who's super young, and he might be elevating his game this season too. My point is Portland's actually a better team than I think a lot of people are going to give credit for this season. And they presented a challenge. You're absolutely right. They made certain players look old as F. starting with Al Horford. You and your cousins who run Sprewell Was Right on Substack, and I think your cousin more specifically was like vehemently opposed to the Al Horford fit, largely because of what you're pointing out, like his age, his defense. But I also think Portland is very different than the Lakers, and maybe they should have started Horford in that first game and then gone with that small ball lineup in the second game. I don't know, but I feel you on that, and you can piggyback off what I just said.
Yeah. So two things. I agree. Portland is gonna be legit for most of the season until they start tanking, and including that third game. They're coming for us. Like I don't know if we're gonna be 0-3 or 1-2, but the thing is, Cy, what you're saying is true about Portland, but that's true of the whole West. The whole West is coming for our asses. Like,
True.
Like it is I've been talking about that last year. These games are not going to be easy. And the thing is, Horford, what we saw last year was like, yeah, he could switch well and be effective last year in spurts coming off the bench as a power forward. He had a huge, great centers to play next to, like big men. And he was playing with 3 defensive wings, all defensive wings, Tatum, Brown, and White. Those guys are legit. And like, that's a different story than having to switch on the ball with pods behind you, or to be able to shuffle your feet from the 3-point corner into trying to help Buddy Hield. Like, that's a whole different story. Like, suddenly it's not everybody's lifting me up and I'm actually the worst defender on the court. I'm actually now kind of one of the better defenders on the court. Like, I have to lift other guys up. That's where you get looks like looking around like, oh my God, did this guy just out rebounded me? Like it you could see the stun, like this is a different reality. And so Cy, like, I was concerned about those both starting lineups. So in game 1 with Brandin Podziemski and then game 2 with Al Horford. And what they did was they moved Brandin to play point guard in the off the bench. Okay. This was Kerr's big innovation in game 2 when he saw what Brandin looked like in that first game. I mean, it was bad. He's over here talking about he's going to get the keys to the car after Steph Curry. He's the next Steph Curry. Okay. He doesn't even belong on the court. Like you guys think I'm exaggerating? Play the clips. But okay.
And again, you're referring those clips you're referring to. People could follow you on threads at Mando_man10. I can't play the clips here because for some reason, some accounts get away with it. And I still don't know how. I even ask them on occasion. I'm like, how do you get away with just routine episodes with highlights in your show? And they just shrug and say, sometimes I get flagged. Sometimes I get away with it. I can't afford it to get episodes flagged, man. And that happens. I've had the same thing happen where I'll play highlights in a show and nothing happens. And I thought maybe if you suppress the audio, you could get away with it. No, man, like the NBA or YouTube, whoever's doing the flagging, like there's no rhyme or reason to the system. It's a random thing. So I'm not going to play those clips, but again, people can follow you on threads at Mando_man to see, Mando_man10 to see the plays you're talking about specifically. And so you think Brandin Podziemski in both games, like they're just similar duds in your mind? Oh, I think you froze on us. Oh, you're back. You're back. Can you hear me? Did you hear my question?
Yeah. He looked bad in both games. Yeah. So I'm sorry, my internet's freezing, but
it's okay. It's okay.
So the second game, they trotted out, dude. I hope I've like made some impact on these viewers. Are you guys noticing that was Quentin Post, Kuminga at power forward, Brandin Podziemski at small forward, or no, they had Gary Payton at small forward, Brandin Podziemski at shooting guard, and who was the fifth guy? It was
Dre at small ball 5.
No,
Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, Steph, Podziemski.
No. That bench lineup was Brandin.
Oh, the bench lineup in game 2, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking about the starting lineup in the first game. It was Buddy Hield.
It's Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
So I cannot think of a worse lineup in the NBA. Like no other coach would play those guys together. Like in you're talking about 4 guys that are out of position. Like literally a plus defender, Gary Payton, is being posted up as a mismatch. Jeremiah Grant is going at him in the post. So now you're talking about like Buddy Hield, Matador defense. Brandin Podziemski is like going out, like trying to contest threes. Do you see how many guys just splash threes in this guy's face? Because he's fucking 6'5", guarding small forwards. And, and then you're asking Kuminga to be the defensive help in that situation. So the other team, all they got to do is get Quentin Post and Brandin Podziemski in a pick and roll defensive situation. And it's just a layup or a wide open 3. It's totally easy. No coach would ever think no coach in the league would put those guys on the floor together. And here's one thing. Here's why I think it's worse, Cy, than I thought. Like I knew that's a bad lineup, but the coach probably thought, okay, we need to get Brandon as a point guard out there with Buddy Hield and Gary Payton. So the thing is, Brandon's been miscast his whole career as a small forward, and I feel bad for him. It's really bad. He has no point guard instincts now. In fact, he wasn't even bringing the ball up the court against those guys because that's why you saw Kuminga trying to bring it up. So think about what Kuminga's trying to do there. And, this is like, now you're asking him to be a backup point guard when he hasn't been trained and given that role his whole career. And it really showed in that backup thing. Like, and I feel bad for Gary Payton. Gary Payton is I think a great player, but not when you're playing small forward, a 6'2" small forward, like, and there's nobody around you. So, that whole situation was really, really bad. We saw what the coach wanted to do. This is why I say Sunday, you guys. Sunday is a really critical game because they have 4 days off between the last game and Sunday. That means they saw tape of what I just said. Believe me, trust me, I saw the body language. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, they saw what I saw with Brandin Podziemski. Like, what is the adjustment on Sunday? Because there was a massive adjustment from game 1 to game 2, what I just said. And game 3, are we going to see Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody play together with the guys? How many, are we going to see that in the first half? Please tune in. And if you see that, then there's hope for this season. There's a sliver of hope if we see that. Because what they did in the first 2 is it's mind-boggling that anybody think that would be winning basketball. It's mind-boggling.
I hear you, man. I hear you on that. And again, the Podziemski critique you're levying through these first 2 games, I don't have much of a pushback. It's one of those things where I'm not going to, me personally, I'm not going to read too much into it until the regular season starts. I hear you though. Podziemski, look, man, it is a weakness of his at this point, and that weakness is defense, at least from my perspective, primarily. Like he has a hard time staying in front of his assigned player to defend. He gets beat routinely, and Al Horford struggles similarly with that, or at least he did in game 2. He just looked slow-footed. And again, the youngsters in that second game just laid massive duds. And that second unit. And I want to talk a little bit more about GP2 in a second with that second unit as well, because Traveling Urquita is writing in the chat that he needs to be cut. He's not going to get cut. That contract is guaranteed, at least to the best of my knowledge. So he might be an end of the bench guy if Steve Kerr has some rhyme and reason. He looked bad. That block dunk was not a good look. That turned into a 5-point play for Portland. I still don't understand how Seth Curry was the odd man out for the whole mid-November plan to fit under the second apron. Like why isn't Seth playing right now instead of GP2? Why did DeAnthony Melton? Why did he not get the mid-November thing, considering he's not going to even play? And I'm hoping that got resolved behind the scenes. Maybe it was one of those conversations where the Curry brothers, like Steph told his brother, I'll slide an extra $1 million for you. Don't worry. Let's let GP2, who's only making money late in his career, have his extra million. Maybe he needs more. Who knows? I don't know how that conversation went down. There's also a post in our chat from Brian_RT bringing up Warriors practice day, which was yesterday. And I'd love to get some feedback from folks on that, because there were audience members in our chat saying they were going to go out there and yell some harsh truths to the coaching staff and other players possibly. I don't know if that actually happened, but Brian_RT is mentioning something that a few others noticed as well. And unfortunately, Alex Simons and certain media types, in his case of the SF Gate, highlighting it like it's a real story, when in reality, the dude's just a JK hater, like a lot of these pathetic local media types. I digress. But my point is, it wasn't a big deal at all. And I don't know if there's a good story behind it, but there is a story behind it. And we'll touch on that in just a moment. And obviously we'll talk about Podziemski some more, GP2 some more, because again, I thought he did not like if there's going to be an odd man out for rotations, I don't understand why he would not be GP2. I mean, he's 6 feet 2 inches, nowhere near the same player he was back in 2021, 22 when they won the last title. Again, I love him on the bench. I love him as a chemistry guy, but you got to perform. Like, you got to perform at an elite level when you're on the court. And I just don't see his play matching up with his teammates, and he's getting beat even sometimes defensively. He's a borderline liability offensively because he doesn't have solid handles. He doesn't have a solid shot. All he does offensively is just putbacks and set screens and passes, and that's not enough. You need more. And again, I sit here spending a minute criticizing GP2, and a lot of people are going to hate me for that. I'm sorry, but it's just, it's a harsh reality of this team and who should and shouldn't play. So we'll break all that down and pick the mind of the professor, Armando Lara. Got to give some love first to our sponsors. And today we have one primary one, and besides FanDuel, and I'm going to touch on some lines from FanDuel. They are our title sponsor. Side note, if you're interested in being a part of the program, email us, warriors24pod@gmail.com. Excuse me, warriors24pod@gmail.com. That's our email. If you are interested in sponsoring our program, we have a brief window right now for opportunities in terms of advertising inventory. We're getting close. I have a strong lead for at least one local sponsor, but again, we don't have unlimited space. So reach out to us, and we could use your support as well. And we'd love to support you back. Warriors24pod@gmail.com if you're interested in sponsoring the program, kind of like what a company like DeleteMe does. Where is that overlay? There you are. DeleteMe is a fantastic service. Like, Armando, have you ever had worries about your digital footprint? Have you ever had worries about some of the stuff you posted online that 10, 15, 20 years later, you think back and go, damn, I hope that doesn't ever pop up again? Or has your digital footprint been totally clean? Maybe that's the case too. I don't know.
I'm solid, man. I'm solid. Unimpeachable.
I'm very happy for you that you're solid. I don't know if that's the case for everyone out there. And that's where DeleteMe is a phenomenal service for you, and also just for those who want to protect their privacy online. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with DeleteMe. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/pro and use the promo code PRO, P-R-O, at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/pro and enter PRO as your promo code at checkout. One more time, joindeleteme.com/pro and make sure you use the promo code PRO at checkout for 20% off. Warriors practice day was yesterday, and a couple of people brought up that Jonathan Kuminga did not participate. And then you had his haters, his detractors will find any excuse to bash the kid, saying that he was disengaged, that he didn't want to talk to the public. And then you had other people who were there saying that's bullshit. He was signing autographs. My guess is, I don't have anything confirmed, but he did tweak something at the end of that second preseason game. I also saw a report somewhere else that said he was feeling under the weather. My point is, he was held out of that practice. That had nothing to do with Kuminga saying, I don't want to have anything to do with any of you. It had nothing to do with him voluntarily, purposefully disengaging with the fans and his team. He just mostly was hanging out with the coaching staff because the medical staff advised him to stay out. So Brian_RT, I hope that answered your question in terms of why Jonathan Kuminga did not participate in Warriors practice day, which is again a fan event. I think they charge $5 for people to show up and participate. Did you see any of the clips from practice day? Anything that stuck out to you, or was that did you treat it like I did, just a fan event that bears little to no relevancy in terms of the game itself?
No, I didn't see that. But what you're saying about Kuminga is alarming in this sense. Remember the distraction everybody was talking about? So here's someone who just sits out with an injury and it generates a conversation. So this is what what they knew they were going to get. So this is just step one. Everything I said about them experimenting with these lineups, like lineups that no other coach in the league would play, when it's obvious what they should be playing. Like Kerr's over here talking about, we're going to explore, like Dora the Explorer. Dude, there's a map. There's a known map, like play the 5 highest paid players on the team. It's almost like, he's setting up, it's like the team's being run by the PR staff. Like, we're going to explore so that when they win, Kerr will like look good or something like that. Dude, this is like, those situations where dudes are driving the car and your lady is in the passenger seat and she got a map to go exactly where you're going. And she's like, hey, you got to take a right. And the dude is like, no, it's this way. I just have a feeling. My gut is telling me to go this way.
A stereotypical male-female scenario, driving a car, and then you have the passenger. Yes, continue on. Yeah.
Steve Kerr with the lineups. Exploring. There's a fucking map. We know exactly who should be playing and who's a peripheral player. Like Brandon should be backup point guard for like 15 minutes a game. Horford 8 to 10 minutes in the loony position. That's it. That's no more. As a power forward, you're gonna have to play him with TJD. Like, it's bad. And who's gonna get the blame? Jonathan Kuminga. They're throwing Jonathan Kuminga out there as a power forward, out of position with 3 guards. And that's all the conversation, him sitting out of a practice. It's going to be about him and not who it should be. So, but we're going to keep it real on Fridays here. Well, I'm going to keep telling you guys what's going wrong with these lineups and why they're losing. And it ain't Jonathan Kuminga's fault. So,
no, that I 100% agree with you. And it is crazy again that this fan base and the more I observe this and we're all around it, the more I feel the local media scene is who's culpable with in terms of the responsibility of this misguided negative energy being directed toward this one player. It's crazy. And I saw some people, for example, like Mark Spears of ESPN, of a former guest of the show, and we're going to aim for having him back on next summer. Just because the dude's an insanely busy guy. He's a really good dude too. I routinely run into him, and quality man. And he interviewed Kuminga recently. It was a great profile piece, but you had all these like naysayers pulling out one little paragraph where Kuminga talked about his role and how like he doesn't need to listen to coaching. He knows what his role is, play defense. He basically was just summarizing and simplifying a topic that is simple. But you had all these people just misconstruing it and taking it out and going, see, he's not a team guy. See, like, he wants to roll to the beat of his own drum, and it's wild. Whereas you had, like, let's say a 20 paragraph story, 19 of them were all these positives. You have one that is open to interpretation, and of course people spin it in a negative manner. The spin is just everywhere all the time. It is lunacy. But going back to the Warriors here, what are your sentiments? Like, do you agree with my GP2 feelings where, like, again, I don't mind them playing spot minutes, But he can't be to me, him even being a second stringer is detrimental to the team. I think he's like safely your 14th or 15th dude on the bench. That's how I view GP2. I think using him in any other manner is hurting your team. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I'm much higher on GP2.
And why?
Can you hear me, Cy? I'm sorry. I'm
No,
much
you're good.
higher on GP2. Do you guys remember last year when Brandin Podziemski was hurt and I think Steph was hurt and GP2 had to play point guard? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but I can picture it.
Dude was dribbling up the court just fine, setting up the offense just fine. He was an elite defender at the point guard. Like, we are judging players being played out of position. Everybody on the team is being set up to failure. Like, what do we like, dude? Like, what they're probably looking around at each other. Like, what do we do? What is this? Like, we stand no chance at beating Portland. Like, we're down by like 15, trying our hardest because we're playing with 3, probably 4 guards with Jonathan Kuminga at power forward. Like, it don't make any kind of sense. And I feel bad for all of them. I feel really bad for all these players. Like, yeah, Gary Payton looks terrible. He's getting, I mean, that means he's trying to go up for a dunk against a 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guy. So like you have to judge guys in context. I judge Brandin in context too. He's totally overmatched. He's closing out on guys that got 5 inches on him. And I feel bad. I feel really bad for these guys.
How do you think Podziemski was misused in game 2? Because he did come off the bench. At least I saw him playing his natural position, the point. And quite a few people were pointing out that the Warriors looked like a team that needed ball handlers because Portland had a full court press. Defensively, they were very aggressive. And that's a moment where you bring up this one game. I don't remember it. I trust you, though, that GP2 was a fill-in point guard. I've never seen him handle that role before, where he's primarily dribbling the ball, facilitating as a passer, as a playmaker. I've never seen him in that role once. I don't remember this game, but in Portland, in this game against Portland, where you had this lineup out there, Podziemski, Buddy Hield, it was Kuminga, it was GP2, and I think it was Quentin Post. That was your second unit off the bench. And they looked like a team that didn't know how to dribble the ball. And Brandin Podziemski, who's a natural point guard, even he didn't look that comfortable being a primary ball handler. Do you think there's any role for him in Podziemski's case? Like, when you talk about context, is there a context where he could thrive in your view?
So the issue is he hasn't been played at point guard for 3-4 years. And so now you're throwing him into this role. That's what I mean by like not developing the right way to play. And that's why he wasn't bringing the ball up the court. Dude is going to get his pocket picked by he's not that good. So he's going to get his pocket picked. And there was a regular season against the Rockets where he couldn't do it and they had to have Buddy Hield bring up the court. I don't know if you guys remember that game last year. But I want to address what Mike G said in the chat here. I like this comment.
What time? 444?
444, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good comment. So let's talk about this for a second. Draymond is a god, and he was gifted with elite strength and elite wingspan. It's the only position where we have an advantage playing undersized. It's always been that way, and it continues to be that way. Draymond is a god, and it ain't the same with everybody else. They're not gods. And like it doesn't aside, like, we have to try so hard with our stupid ass offense to get these guys an open look when the other teams just do it. It's just okay, just drive around the guy in front of you, kick out, and it's an open 3. Just shoot it. Like, we spend 20 seconds with Steph running around, trying to get Jimmy in the right position, just to get the basic shot that other teams just pull right up and do. Everybody could shoot in the NBA now. That's what I'm saying. The league caught up in threes. You could just let it fly. If you just watch other teams, they're just shooting it. We spend
True.
There's no blender anymore. The blender that confused teams and made people think that was so good, that doesn't exist anymore. The blades are dull. And it's just going to tire our veterans out. That we don't got it like that anymore. We don't have an easy offense.
What is in your mind, Armando? And I love that we have comments in the chat, like Health Shot saying, "This negativity is toxic. My brain hurts." And that's Friday happy hour, man. Armando Lara brings the heat sometimes, bringing reality checks into the mix, whether you agree with it or not. Armando, in your view, and again, people can follow your action on Substack. The column is called Sprewell Was Right. You also are going to soon, hopefully, maybe you started this already, you can update the audience, going to be covering games during the action, meaning you're going to actually be commenting on live basketball games, Warriors more specifically, and you could give us an update on that. But in your mind, who should be the Warriors starting five? This is the team they have. This is the roster that's been constructed. What would you do with it? Like, who's starting? Who's your first five off the bench? If you don't mind answering that.
Man, it ain't that hard, dude. Like,
okay,
I've been saying it for weeks now. Steph, Moody, Kuminga, Butler, Draymond. That's it. Play it 30 minutes. You're gonna win lots of games, and everybody else should be in orbit around making that happen. And it won't look like what you're used to. It's just different. And we've never seen it. We have never seen the lineup that every coach in the league would play. Do you guys know that you should take in a Miami Heat game? Andrew Wiggins is playing shooting guard.
His natural position.
He's playing with wings. He's playing with Jaime Jaquez. He's playing with Bam. Like, dude, like
Ware is looking good too for him, man. I saw some highlights. They might have found
because that's going to affect the Warrior. The more Ware is good, and that boy is legit. That boy could play. If anybody knows, he's the Wembanyama that's actually going to stay healthy. And the better he is, the more Bam Adebayo gets expendable. And I'm a little worried that we're going to actually cash in. We're going to get bamboozled by the Heat and get Bam Adebayo, another East Coast ex All-Star. And and everybody's going to be happy because the Heat, if you trade Kuminga, Moody, and a pick for Bam, that's, it's going to be like, oh, we got Bam, we got the All-Star. Sorry, guys, it ain't like that no more. So I'm looking at Ware really closely as a Warriors fan. It's going to change things the better he is. That's another thing I'm looking at.
So here's Mike G in the chat offering his preferred starting five, which is Steph, Moody, Butler, Draymond, and Al Horford, and that was the starting five we saw in the Portland game. Desario, who loves his spacing, just like Steve Kerr. And again, I'm not sitting here dissing spacing, but there's far more to the game than just giving players a nice, comfortable cushion around them to shoot basketballs. Saying Steph, DeAnthony Melton when he comes back, and look, that's a point I brought up in that post game show Wednesday night following their win over Portland, is that DeAnthony Melton's absence was felt, and there's going to be games this season where I think his absence will be noticed because he is a second ball handler. He is a complete offensive player. He's also a fantastic defensive player. He's basically, and again, I'm not as critical of Podziemski as you and some other folks are. I also understand what you're saying about him, but I think there is a role for him. I don't think he's ever going to be an all-star. If he is, that would surprise the shit out of me. But I do think there's a role for him in this game and on this Warriors team, and it's coming off the bench. And I feel like DeAnthony Melton is pretty much everything Brandin Podziemski is not. And it's why when we do see Melton back, it's going to be noticeable. It's going to be a positive in that regard. But we're not going to see him likely until mid-December. DeAnthony Melton was spotted during the Warriors practice day doing doing some light, fun stuff, reportedly, which for the Kuminga naysayers, I could see that point being interesting. Like Kuminga, why wasn't he participating? But DeAnthony Melton is recovering from a torn ACL. He was out there. Good point if you're making that. But look, the training staff has their orders. Maybe Melton is clear to do some light stuff, whereas Kuminga just suffered who knows what, whether it's a sprained ankle or knee or he's under the weather. I don't know the reasoning for what kept him out of a Warriors practice day, but nonetheless, Desorio's starting five: Steph, Melton, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Al Horford. So going back to your starting five, are you not worried about Draymond being worn out as your small ball five?
Not if you play with wings. The game is easy when you have wings. Okay. That's when he's able to play center. He cannot play center with three guards and cleaning all this nonsense up. That's what's wearing Draymond down. It's all connected. It's all connected.
Muhammad Alvi saying his starting five: Steph, Moody, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and Al Horford. Now you're onto something in terms of what I like. My ideal starting five at this point with Melton out would be Steph, Moody, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and Al Horford and or Quinton Post. Horford, to me, going back to the spacing topic, even though he had a bad game against Portland, and I hope that was a one-off. Because I know, again, you and your cousins have been critical of the Horford signing in terms of his fit with this team. We shall see, right? But, I hope it doesn't get to that scenario where he just gets exposed routinely, and hopefully we get the Al Horford that we expect. But the spacing that Horford brings as your five, to me, is a huge reason why that could work. There's been multiple reports, including attributions from Al Horford, Steve Kerr, that the pairing of Horford and Kuminga on the court together has some promise because it quells Steve Kerr's uneasiness about that spacing, which again, to me is the extreme he takes it is a little he makes it overrated somewhat. This need for space, especially when you see the greater NBA and who's thriving out there. Most do not need the level of space that Steve Kerr desires. Nonetheless, that would be my starting five, and then you bring Dre off the bench as a valuable anchor for that second unit, and you keep him in the closing lineup. That way, you reduce the wear and tear on Dre as well. That's just me, but we shall see what happens. I'm very excited. And side note, great picture behind you, man, with the Brandin Podziemski love there. Money Checkup wants to know, Armando, where'd you get that MVP picture from?
The media paraphernalia that's being spread around, because this guy, I'm telling you, they did focus groups, and this guy is who the Peninsula crowd wants to see. Every daughter thinks they got a chance with Pods. If you stay after the game, they're waiting to talk to him. Look, so let's talk about this spacing thing, man. Because Desario brings it up every week, and I address it every week, so I'm gonna address it again. I love spacing. Boy, do I love spacing, and I love 3-point spacing.
Why wouldn't you?
The guys,
it's obvious, right? Yeah.
The guys they play that are so-called shooters on the Warriors do not space the floor. You got to watch the game. It don't matter that these guys are so-called shooters. Al Horford, last year in the playoffs, like the Celtics were getting roasted by a bad team, the Knicks. And one of the reasons they were getting roasted was because Al Horford had to play the five. They had injuries to their centers. And he was standing in the corner, so-called spacing the floor. The Knicks ignored him. They double teamed Jason Tatum off the ball, and honestly, me and my cousins we're like a couple more plays from just straight up blaming Al Horford for Tatum's injury, because Tatum was having to launch crazy shots because Al Horford's man was sitting in the lane ignoring him, and every time they passed the ball to Al Horford to so-called space the floor, the Knicks just rotated and kept him from shooting. It was bad. I mean, doesn't belong on the court. I'm talking about a player that his alternative is retirement. That's the guy that we got. This is the go home in a body bag program. Buddy Hield don't space the floor. Buddy Hield misses wide open shots when he gets set up. He takes contested shots that look great. And yeah, he kind of, you got to react to him, but it ain't like that, man. It ain't like that. And Brandon's gonna have his good games because they're leaving him wide the F open. But he's got to shoot 44% to make up for his defense, because it is really, really bad. Go look at my threads. So
I'm not pushing back at all on the defense.
There's no
Podziemski,
spacing.
look, and I think you're right. I think you're right that he needs to shoot like that. He did shoot, I believe, 43.8% in college his second year, and that's the shooting that they're hoping for. But I agree with you that if the 3-point shot is not falling, he does become a bit of a liability out there, especially on the defensive end. I can't wait to see those clips. I wish I could show them on the show. And folks, if you're curious what those clips look like, just follow or just check out. But if you don't mind following as well, Armando on Threads, again, Mando_man10 is your Threads account to check it out there. The Warriors' next preseason game is Sunday. I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Was there anything else you wanted to add? I'm sorry if I did.
No, I think my message is clear, man. I'm really just we got to wrap it up soon, but man, yeah. Look, Martine put it good in the chat. Like, spacing includes the time it takes to close out. Like, that's quitting post spaces, and it ain't just because of the catch and release, but it's higher. Like, it does matter the kind of shot it is, and the guys that we play don't space the floor like that, man. Steph is so lucky to get wide open, man. He's so it is so hard for him. Yeah. Anyways.
I hear you, man. And Steph, look, Steph is Steph. He's one of the all-time greats. I love the fact that the NBA, for the first time in I don't know how many years, did Steph a favor. I mean, I feel like every rule that's ever implemented, changed, revised seems to hurt the Warriors, seems to go against helping them succeed. And finally, there's a rule that will assist him, and that's the high five rule, where you cannot make contact with the shooter even after the release. That, I mean, look, every single time we see that contact made on the follow through makes me cringe, literally. Usually that word is reserved just for a metaphorical purpose. In this case, like, my stomach churns every time I see that contact being made and the refs swallowing the whistle. We've been seeing it for how many years? That's going to change this year. Very first scoring possession of the Warriors in that Portland game was a Stephen Curry 4-point play as a result of that rule change. And I can't wait to see that over the stretch of a season. The Warriors will play the Lakers Sunday. Again, this game is in LA. And before we talk about that, I want to point out, again, LeBron James out. I know they're saying 3 to 4 weeks, but they said 3 to 4 weeks before a reevaluation. Any sciatic nerve issues, if you've ever experienced that yourself, it's a bitch. Just think about waking up with a stiff neck. Think waking up with your back going out. It's that level where, like, every movement is felt. And I've been telling you folks from day one, FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Golden Days and the Believe Network, they've had that opening night game between the Warriors and the Lakers available as a betting line for like 2 months. It's been crazy. The moment that LeBron James' injury was announced, and the news following that being that LeBron's going to miss a bunch of games, including the opener, the first time in his career. I mean, that's noteworthy. The line for the Lakers and the Warriors, courtesy of FanDuel, went down from the Lakers favored by 3.5 on that opening night game to 1.5. The money line for the Warriors went from plus 138. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me wait. I got this wrong. Let me. This changed. This changed from what I saw literally like this morning. The Warriors are now favorites in that game. They were, I'm sorry about that. They were 3.5-point underdogs, and they are now 1.5-point favorites. So you really missed out on that, because you could have bet the money line plus 138. The Warriors are now favored minus 120. The Lakers are 1.5-point underdogs at home now on opening night. So the LeBron factor swinging that game 4 points. Any thoughts on that, Armando? I know I don't know if you bet on NBA basketball, but that's significant, man. So LeBron literally factoring a 4-point swing in that opening night game. The Warriors are now favorites. Any thoughts on that?
Don't spend too much money betting on the Warriors this year. That's my thought.
Well, the preseason game, there's also a line for that, for all the degenerates out there who just have to get their fix. No, I do not bet on preseason action. I think that's lunacy. You're just literally throwing. You might as well flip a coin for money at that point. And the line is.
I don't bet nightly on NBA games. Never have. It's not a good idea. I don't know how people make money off betting nightly. It's crazy. I bet season long stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of studying, it's a lot of research, and a bit of luck. So no line for the Warriors preseason game Sunday. And again, please bet responsibly when you do. But what do you expect for Sunday? I don't, to the best of my knowledge, there are no. I'll open up the NBA injury report. I don't know how consistent that is for the preseason. I've actually never opened it in the preseason before. But I'm curious to see if the Warriors have anybody listed pertaining to Sunday. Yeah, there is no injury report currently. So I don't know who's going to miss action, but any predictions for Sunday? Because you said it could be a long game for the Warriors. I don't know if Luka Doncic is going to play for the Lakers. Not much of a preview between now and Sunday. Again, we will be live for that. Armando, you're always invited for those post-game shows if you ever want to join me. I'm usually solo for those post-game shows because booking guests for a post-game episode is always the most difficult, largely because of the hour of the show. With all that said, what do you anticipate for Sunday? Steve Kerr's treating the preseason like experimentation, as he should. I wish he would not treat the regular season like experimentation. I wish we would not see close to 40 different starting lineups. I don't think that is conducive to success. I digress. What do you expect for Sunday? Warriors preseason game number 3, taking on the LA Lakers, who don't have LeBron for at least a month.
I think what I expect on Sunday, chat, and you know what I've been looking for, but I expect. Oh, hopefully I didn't cut out.
No, you're good. I'm hearing you.
I expect Kerr to fake try Kuminga with the guys and Moody. I expect a fake attempt. Like it's going to be trotted out, no effing plan. Just throw it out there, see what happens. And it won't look good because it's never been played. And then he's going to go away from it. That's what I expect on Sunday. I cannot wait to see what happens. Sunday is really, really critical, man. I cannot wait for Sunday. It's a big game. In terms of what is our plan? Where is Dora the Explorer going to land?
Interesting. We shall see. Traveling Urquita is bringing some levity to the chat, saying to fix your sciatica, just spend one night in Bangkok. Problem solved. Nice. And adding to that, my only curiosity to that point made is the pain relief in the form of who's giving the massage or the opium den? That are those available in Thailand? Because if it is, I imagine that probably helps your back a little bit too. But yeah, opium dens. That's supposedly a thing over on the other side of the world.
Sciatica is legit. I mean, I think my guess is LeBron wasn't working that hard this offseason, and he started preseason and got that injury. I mean, it is something you can come back with from without surgery because there's different severities of it. Sometimes the outgrowth of the spine, the fluid that's in there will come back in with time. This is what Draymond's had, when he had the little calf nerve thing. That was actually
and he missed like 2 months. Yeah.
And that's what he was gonna get if we had actually made it to the Thunder. Like people think, I've talked about that we were gonna go home in a body bag. We were lucky to just get a hamstring out of that playoffs. But LeBron, we don't know how serious that is. And honestly, if I'm the Lakers, they didn't extend him, and they're not. LeBron doesn't mind playing with Luka. It ain't about that. It's just the same Jimmy Butler. It's what Jimmy Butler did to the Heat. He just wanted the extension, and they did not give it to him, and that is going to be an emerging issue. We shall see what happens with the Lakers, but if Luka's focused, which we don't know that he is, that's going to be a team. That is a team. So. We'll see. That's another thing besides the Heat that I'm looking at in the West is where's Luka's mind at.
I wish my fams one was. I agree with my fams one who writes in the chat. Why doesn't he just retire? I agree, man. I'm so ready for the post-LeBron era. I've been ready for it for like 5 years, man. And this guy just gets so much attention for non-basketball shit. And 41 years old, just give it up. Like figure out what you want to do next in life instead of just constantly just hoarding attention.
Man,
Dude. Like that.
We are in the Steph Curry era, and we have been. Steph is so damn good. He is a top 5 player of all time.
Yeah.
And it is an absolute basketball travesty that he is in the situation he's in. It is so ridiculous. Championship roster, play-in coaching. And I'm so damn worried about it, man. I want this guy to be recognized for who the top 5 player of all time that he is. He is good enough to win a title. Draymond is the playoff god. These guys are good enough to do it. And it's just, it breaks my heart watching this, man.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking. Jason Lewis in the chat saying that LeBron's still chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan. I think you're onto something there. He just wants to stay relevant, and it's the same premise that.
Yeah, I think he's making a play to the thing is what LeBron's trying to do is set up the expansion team. I don't know if it's Vegas or somewhere else, but so they cut Michael Jordan a deal with the Charlotte. They gave him a fat cheap deal to buy Charlotte. So I think the whole NBA Europe or like starting his own league, that's all just you're going to hear a lot of stuff about that, but that's him setting up like, hey, if you don't cut me a deal, I'm going to go do this other thing. So he's trying to make that kind of play. That's the level he's thinking at. Yeah.
You made Desiree laugh though. He's bawling his eyes out from what you said. Championship roster, play in coaching.
Yeah, I've been saying that. This is the 3rd week I've been saying that. So you don't watch these shows just like you don't watch the games.
Oh, brother. And Chardol in our chat, love you, man. But we're short on time today. We're actually going to wrap it up right now. No audience participation on this Friday happy hour. By the way, it's raining where I'm at. Are droplets dropping on you over in the East Bay? Getting some rain here, but I also live in the woods, so it's a little more commonplace. Nice. All right, anything we missed? I think we covered all the topics, right? I don't know if there's anything else to bring up. Anything on your mind? Oh, and have you started the in-game stuff in terms of Sprewell Was Right? Your column,
we're going to start it this week. I think what we're going to do, Cy, is we're going to start with some editing, like edited like portions, because these full games are not good. Like we're going to home in like on what we saw the second quarter of game 2 was really important against Portland. We're going to like show a clip and just show you how we watch the games, which is pretty fun. And we drink a bottle of wine, we get into it, but we replay every defensive breakdown and we look at exactly where it started and who's to blame. And that's not a different way you watch the game. So I can't wait to show people that, teach people, do some teaching. So
Desi wants to know, in your mind, Armando, who should get the two-way spots? Because I think Alex Tui, the other second rounder they drafted right after Will Richard, I almost said Reddy again. I think Alex Tui's a safe bet for one of them. LJ Cryer, I mean, look, we got to see more, but this kid has something special in terms of mental fortitude. Like the one play in that game that really made me take a step back and go, wow, there's something interesting with this kid, was the lack of any hesitation to pull up for that three late in the game. If you know what I'm talking about, you're getting me here. You're following along. LJ Cryer brought the ball up, and you would think in a tense moment, I can't remember if the game was tied at that point or if the Warriors were still trailing a little bit. There's maybe like a minute left on the clock. And again, Cryer plays all 12 minutes of that fourth quarter and no hesitation, just pulled right up and he hit that three, drained it. And when I saw that and the fact that the amount of confidence he had in that shot, and look, it would not have been a good look if it didn't go in. And we see that a lot too, right? And there's such a fine line between arrogance and confidence, right? And sometimes on the basketball court, that line can be separated simply by whether or not you make that shot. And he made that shot, dude. And that was a good look for him, dude. It was a very strong first impression that he made on Dub Nation to lead that comeback. I know Quentin Post got some accolades, rightfully so, but LJ Cryer, dude, I think that's a safe bet for your second two-way. Maybe it's a safe bet. In my eyes, it is.
Spencer, is he competing for that too? Pat Spencer?
And that could be your number 3. There's 3 two-way spots. That's why we're having this discussion to wrap it up. Pat Spencer could be your third. He also had a good game. He had some moxie, dude. I love that kid's moxie, man. I love any player that allows me to use the word moxie. It's one of my favorite words. So who in your mind, we'll wrap it up with that. Who should be your two-way player?
Let me talk about Pat Spencer for 60 seconds here. So he had, I don't know if you guys saw these comments, like it was getting spread around by the mainstream media, like he said something biblical, where he said that he would have a greater role in this league if more teams valued like moxie and IQ over athleticism. He literally said that. I don't know how deaf-tone you have to be to say something as a person in his position. First of all, Pat Spencer, the reason he's in the league is actually because of his athleticism. The dude is actually athletic. He has a lot of power.
Yes, he does.
And I don't actually see that much IQ from him. It ain't that hard to get into a pick and roll. Like it's not like that. So I think Pat Spencer is better than Brandin Podziemski at what we need him to do. So I think they're going to realize, I mean, I don't know because I don't trust the coaching staff's ability to judge players, but Brandin cannot fulfill the bring the ball up the court role, and he's getting iced as a small forward. So they're going to need another point guard on the roster, because Melton, I mean, you guys are talking about Melton like he's going to come in and save the season.
I'm not going that far, but he does handle the ball handling.
That's what I'm saying. Potentially that's what they're counting on. But guys, like, what are we talking about here, man? Like, do you see where we're at? What we're like counting on, man? Like, come on, like, I'm gonna get next when he comes back. The background is going to be a picture of an ACL. So like. Ooh. Like, come on. What are we doing here, man? Ridiculous.
Desi in the chat saying the two-way spots should go to Pat Spencer, LJ Cryer, and Will Richard. It's Richard singular, and Will Richard already has a guaranteed spot. He's on the roster. He's not going to have to worry about being a two-way player. He's the first 2 years of his 4-year contract are guaranteed, so you don't have to worry about that. And then. Yeah, and Andres Milian, your cousin, adding that Moses Moody showed some handles. I love Moses Moody. I know game 2 was not as good as how he shot the ball, at least in the opener, but I love Moses Moody, man. And you bring up someone in the chat asked, like, is it we can finish on this note. I don't have it starred. I know you got to go real fast, but someone in the chat asked, like, is Kuminga just out? Is that already like a foregone conclusion? Hell no. I think, look, the Giannis news from a few days ago made it clear to me that's who the Warriors are dreaming about. That's their fantasy, where if Giannis does become available midway through the season, and so the Warriors are basically banking on the Bucks struggling, not being in the playoff hunt, having a disappointing start, Miles Turner not translating to success for that team. And so if Giannis is unhappy, let's say around January, that is the Warriors' dream scenario. JK for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bam Adebayo. I mean, look, 2 things stick out, and I know you've got to run. I'm sorry. I'll finish on this note. The Bam Adebayo, I'm pretty sure played all of last season. I don't think he was dealing with a lot of injuries. And the Miami Heat with a healthy Bam Adebayo were a play-in team? Like, I mean, he single-handedly does not make or break a team. Fantastic addition if you already have like 2 or 3 other pieces lined up. Like, he would be an amazing a big to complete your roster. But for the Warriors, with Stephen Curry going to be 39 next year and Butler going to be 37, Bam Adebayo, I don't know if they'd roll the dice on that. And especially if you have to also include Moses Moody and other pieces to make it work from a salary cap perspective. I don't know if that's the play. Again, Joel Lacob does love Kuminga. He does. That is a genuine feeling. So if he's going to trade Kuminga, it's going to be for somebody that he feels is of equivalent value. And I don't know if Bam Adebayo fits that, but Giannis certainly does. And I'll finish there. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, just that I'm you guys know my opinion. It's going to get so bad they're going to trade everybody but Kuminga.
Let's save that for another show. We've teased that before. We'll save it before the season starts. What happens if the Warriors do start the season off poorly? Because
Venom.
That's a horrible scenario, but it is possible. We'll have a much clearer picture before next week. Have a couple more preseason games under our belt. People, one more time, follow Armando Lara on Threads at Mando_man10. He joins us every Friday at approximately 4 p.m., sometimes 5, depending on our schedule for Friday happy hour. You got to go. We got to go. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Sunday night. Armando, thank you as always, brother. Thanks to everyone. Bye-bye.